had a question in the chat from Layla, I believe. And she said, did someone speak to you? And what did they say to dispel your feeling of stagnation or disqualification? And how much
Mhm.
pressure do you have to create now that you're signed?
Those are two great questions. The first one, I didn't really have anyone in Reading when I moved here, and I was going through what felt like probably the biggest rejection creatively in my life, which was just not being on teams because I was 19, like, you just don't, it was the biggest thing in the world at that point. Um, so I would say, for me, I didn't have anyone to speak to, so I would call my dad a lot and just kind of process with him. Didn't always do a good job of processing it just because it led to a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, stuff like that of just, I don't know what to do with my life anymore because this isn't who I am apparently. Um, and it really just was for me with worship team stuff, it was, it was just a matter of like, oh, I need to know who God is off the stage because I clearly don't if I'm panicking this much. Um, if that was held so high. Um, and so for me, it was just a matter of one, figuring out who God is, and then just talking to leaders. I didn't have any leaders in Reading, so it was a lot of phone calls. Um, but then in third year, which was the third time I got a no from worship teams. What was my mic? Okay, my mic was unplugging. Um, third year was the third time I got a no for leading worship on worship teams, and I remember being in the lobby of College View, the main campus, and just being so sad. And Callie walked out there, and Callie was always a great leader to me, and she was like, I told her I didn't get on worship teams, and she was like, no, because it felt like the year before, like we were kind of like I would lead once or twice, and it felt like it was kind of leading to me leading in third year, and and then like I was super disappointed, and she left away, and then she texted me later. She's like, "Hey, we should talk. I've been thinking a lot about this." Like, okay, and so we talk, and she's like, "Hey, you are a good worship leader, a good worship leader, but you're a great performer, like with your band. And if you can spend your whole life trying to be great at something you're good at, or you could really lean into the thing that you're really, really great at, and God is still on." And so for me, that was the big kick in the butt of like, oh yeah, like I'm very much looking at a yellow light trying to turn it green when there's a green light that I'm like ignoring is even there.